If you're wanting to make some changes in the worship events that you're designing, if you want to move a little more toward curating and a bit more of a broader perspective on what you're doing, I would suggest that you begin with either the prayers, if you have prayers for others, intercessory prayers or prayers for others, that's a good place to start. So instead of having that just led from the front, you can find some way of engaging with the congregation, with your community. Maybe as they come in, they write something on a piece of paper that's collected and you use to create the prayer with as you go, or they write on a blackboard, or they tear a headline out of a newspaper and hand it along to the end of the row if you don't want to get them moving yet, and someone collects them and you use those as prayers, or they just tear them out and wherever they're sitting in the auditorium they just call out their headline and that becomes your prayer, or you respond to that, the community responds to that by saying, Lord, hear us, Lord, hear our prayer, something like that. So that really simple way. So the prayers for others, I think, is a really good place to start. Another place in some churches it's a good place, a good starting point is with the songs. If you're really committed to 30 or 40 minutes of Hillsong type songs, then it may be not so good, but you can just start with a hymn or a song and replace it with a played song, a recorded song that's not necessarily Christian, but you give some kind of connection to, like you would with a piece of art. You say, this song was written by U2 and it's because the roadie who travelled with U2 was killed in an accident, and this is the songs that Bono, the writers, whoever did, put it together, and this is what they came up with. So you make some kind of connections, and I chose a bad example there, but some kind of connections from the song to the community of people so they might engage with it. So those who have no idea who U2 or whatever the band is playing the song, whatever they're about, they don't have to know that. And then you make sure you put the words up on the data projector or on the handout that people have got in the newsletter so they can read the words, because you can't assume people can hear them and understand them. So you might just do that as one slot in the midst of some other things that are going on, and choosing songs that aren't by Christian artists or Christian songs helps to engage a whole group of people in the community for whom these songs they're hearing day in, day out, but they never hear in church, and they subconsciously or consciously recognise that the church actually doesn't connect with who they are outside of its Sunday worship. So songs and prayers for others would be two straightforward ways of doing that. And the third way would be to use a piece of art. To use a piece of art to reflect on, to think about, or to talk about. So if I'm preaching from Jesus meeting the woman at the well, then I might say, here's a piece of art, which is the artist's interpretation of a moment from the story. You don't have to know anything about art to be able to do this. You can just download a piece of art off the internet, you can download a bit of history about the artist or about the painting, but even if you know nothing at all about any of those, you can still find a piece of art that's about that story and just ask the community some basic questions about it. So, this artist had to choose a moment in time in the story. What moment in the story has the artist chosen to paint here? And why do you think she or he might have done that? And what has the artist missed out? Or what parts of the story has the artist conflated, put together? Is there more than one moment happening in the story? So you don't have to know the art to do that, you don't have to know anything about the artist to do that, but you're just engaging people with the biblical text in a different kind of way. So you're getting people to think about the story in different ways, and you're saying also to the large number of people who have artistic interests or who are interested in art or who go to art galleries during the week, you're saying to them, actually what happens here on a Sunday has got something to do with what I did yesterday and what I'm going to do tomorrow. So that's part of the cultural engagement, I think, and engaging with what's going on in people's lives that will help to sustain them in following Jesus in the world. So my suggestion for people wanting to make some changes would be you either find a song or some way in the songs, in the midst of your songs, or you take the prayers for others, the prayers of intercession, or you use a piece of art to illustrate us. Not to illustrate, sorry, that's the wrong thing to say, but to help people engage with the biblical text would be good starting points.